Well, hello everybody. This is Don from Wizard Tower Games, and with me is my boss, CEO, financial advisor, operations manager, nurse. What was the other title I gave you yesterday?
I can't remember. I have way too many
She has way
titles.
too many titles.
I still
So,
really want a shirt with all my titles. But hello, everybody.
Thaddeus, how you doing? Hope everyone's having a good night tonight. We're going to be talking a little bit about some stuff we got coming out. We got a new product we're announcing. We are going to be just basically talking about a whole lot, a smattering of stuff. And I encourage everybody to drop a comment, ask questions, do whatever you guys want to do. Kind of like first an update as far as WizardCon goes. WizardCon, we have a new vendor that's going to be at WizardCon in Kalamazoo in April, and that is Critical Hit Soda. For those of you who know who they are, they go, I believe, to Gamehole Con and everybody, and a whole bunch of other places. They are Parasocial. How you doing? Hope everyone's doing good tonight. The cool thing about Critical Hit Soda, and the reason why it's kind of really cool is that Critical Hit Soda has like themed drinks for people who do role-playing games, play D&D and that kind of stuff. So they're going to be at WizardCon, and we are working on. I talked to not Larry Elmore, excuse me. Not Jeff D. Trying to think of his name. I'll get to it later. Mine's at a blank. Don't know why. But okay, a couple things, kind of like an update as far as Wizard Tower Games goes. I announced it the other day on our social media, but we're going to be carrying our own brand of gaming dice starting here this week. We're updating our online store. It's going to be, the store's getting a total revamp. Thank you, Jim. Yes, Jeff Easley. See, I gotta have Wampler here to keep me straight. Thanks, Jim. I'm gonna have to give you titles. Like you're
You
like,
took a title away from me.
yeah, that's true. Yeah, Jim Wampler. Yeah, I talked to Jeff Easley, and Jeff Easley sadly can't make it because I guess he's having some type of knee surgery or something happening. But I believe he's going to be at Heidi and Eric Gygax Garland's convention, EggCon, later on in the year. So if you want to catch Jeff Easley, go to EggCon and such. Me and Heidi have talked, and me and Heidi are going to kind of be doing most likely kind of a co-sponsorship. We're going to be donating some product to EggCon for their auction, and we're going to also be having EggCon donate some product for us through for Gaxworks. George, how you doing, my friend? Hope you're having a good evening. Me and George talked earlier. George is from the Netherlands, so welcome, George. So that's what's going pretty much on with WizardCon. So we've got Critical Hit Soda coming, excuse me, and we're also working on a couple more people talking. Merle Rasmussen did double confirm he is coming, and I believe he's going to be running Top Secret and is going to have a booth there, so you want to go ahead and do that. We're also going to be premiering at WizardCon, me and Mark Hunt. We're going to be premiering the new Gangbusters, which is the new 1930s Prohibition gangster Chicago era game that, for those of you of TSR hobbies of old, knew the original Gangbusters. Me and Mark, we are revamping it, making it a little bit more modern, adding some goodies to it, expanding it. It's going to be a lot, I'm not going to say a lot better of a game, but it's going to be more modernized. 1930, yeah, basically from the 1930s, 1920s, that kind of Prohibition, gangbusters, Al Capone kind of feel, George. All right, now, Terry, how you doing? I'm trying to think. I'm kind of at a loss for words tonight. Might as well get right into it. All right, we announced in our little clip, we talked about something called the White Box Role-Playing Engine, and I'm going to show you this real quick. This is what I am talking about. This is the White Box Role-Playing Game Engine, and basically what this is, let me get this a little bit better. There we go. The whole premise of the White Box is I am violating a sworn oath to myself by saying I'll never put a box set out of an RPG. But there's a specific reason why I'm doing it like this is we are getting ready to premiere the Open Worlds role-playing game, and what this will be is this is going to be a starter set that has no humans in it. You can be mice, you can be squirrels, rabbits, basically little varmint creatures. And what that's going to allow you to do is you're going to be able to venture in a world. And in the white box, it's going to be, you saw the packaging, we're going to have a player's handbook guide, a game master's guide. There's going to be a critter catalog, and these are going to be all soft cover little small booklets to get you just started in the game, to get you familiar with the game. There's going to be a little booklet of maps and, adventures in it. There's going to be a set of polyhedral dice. There's going to be player character record sheets, basically everything in one little box. And then what will happen is when the Open Worlds role-playing game comes out later on this year, early 2025, it's going to be kind of like the same theme what TSR did back in the day. Is they came out original with the white box of the wood grain boxes, and then they came out with the AD&D manuals, BECMI and that such. That's what this is going to be. This is kind of like your intro to the world, and then Open Worlds will be introducing humans and such. But this is kind of like its own little world. George says, thought about having those booklets also online as PDF. In this time and age, I'm sure that some D&D groups have tablets and other GMs. George, actually, for those who don't know George, I've known George for years, and I met George in the model building forums. George is a really talented model maker and 3D printer, and George is kind of like a little bit new to gaming, so that's actually a pretty good question, George. And the answer to that is, most of the time, yes, we will have a PDF available for people to download, and that'll be the same thing with the White Box series. So I've always been a little hesitant to do PDFs, but I just think it's time to embrace them. People like them, they love them. So we put out a game. We're going to put out the hardcover game first, or the core game, and then we'll go ahead eventually put the PDF out. Parasocial is brilliant and of our time until it fails when someone claims that rats are Jews or something. Well, you know what? I see your point, but you know what? This is how I'm going to look at this. This is a fun game. This game is designed for people to have fun. You're always going to have negative people, Parasocial, no matter what. There's always going to be people who are going to twist things and warp things. And Lord knows me and my wife know that when we had our publishing company, and when and my wife's a teacher, so she deals with human beings every single day. And my view on it is this, is I'm going to put the game up. People who want to be positive with it and get something out of it are going to play the game and enjoy the game for what it's worth. For people who want to be negative, don't buy the game. I mean, way it goes. George says, oh yeah, rotten apples are always present in any branch of anything. Exactly. Scott, how you doing, buddy? Happy Tuesday. That's right. Happy Tuesday to everybody. Hope everybody, by the way, had a good Labor Day weekend. We had a pretty good Labor Day weekend on the overall. Yeah.
And I look forward to a short work week.
Yeah, she had Friday off last week, and she had yesterday off, so double short week.
Nice thing is the fall's right around the corner. My favorite time.
Yeah, fall's favorite time of year. But that's basically what the white box is going to be. It's going to be a 12-inch wide by about roughly about 8.95 inches wide, not quite 9 inches wide, and it's going to have several manuals in it of different bits and pieces, and then it's going to go ahead and have your dice and such. George, Wednesday, 02:10 a.m. Yeah, George is in the Netherlands, a little bit late. And then Thaitis, Mrs. S'more deals with humans every day. My condolences. Yeah, exactly. She deals with little ones, though. My wife actually teaches pre-kindergarten, so some people call it young fives, preschool, that type of thing. So I take a double hat off to her. I don't have the hair to be teaching little ones like that. It's bad enough raising 4 daughters. I can imagine having what you got, 17 of them in there now?
Yes.
17.
And maybe 18. I might get a new one. And this year I am girl heavy instead of boy heavy.
Yep. Little grandmas. Oh yes. She's got herself a growler. Does he growl?
Yes.
Yeah,
he likes. I have a student who likes to be in the fantasy world. So you might get a dog, you might get a dragon, you might get
dinosaur.
A dinosaur. Yep.
Yeah.
Who knows what? But he likes to. Little guy likes to have fun.
Yep. So George also says, don't feed him after midnight and watch out with water. Exactly. Exactly. But but yeah, I mean, Terry R said my mom was a bus driver and drove special education. Yeah, hats off to her. My dad retired from the army, then went to work overseas for a British company, and he flew in the Middle East quite a bit. That's why we were overseas a lot when I was little. And when he retired, he went to driving the school bus for a local school district. He did that for like 10 years. Really liked it. So yeah, hats off to your mom. Can you imagine driving a bus of 70 of them? Can you imagine that? So yeah, so basically that is the white box. Like I said, the whole theory behind it is going to be, the whole premise is no humans. You can be, there's going to be mice and moles and squirrels and rabbits, and then there's going to be a specialized creature called a snufflewump, which I made up, which is part of a book that I wrote that had my two daughters in it when they were really little. Excuse me. It says there used to be a Gremlins section at Movie Park Germany in late 90s. Oh, really? I didn't know that. Basically, you're going to choose, like a standard role-playing game, you choose a player character, and you can basically, they'll be rodents. This is pretty much what they are. And then there's adventures and such. And then me and Tim Kask, Tim announced it or mentioned it on his video of last Saturday. Go to Curmudgeon in the Cellar. I'll drop a link to it down below. But if you type in Curmudgeon in the Cellar for Tim Kask, subscribe to his YouTube channel. Every Saturday morning, he makes it live with the help of Jim Wampler. And what he does is he reads people's comments. So if you want your questions answered by a guy who was with TSR back in the day and knows more about gaming than I will ever know in my life, then he's the channel to watch. But he mentioned this earlier. We're working on a project together for WizardCon, and I'm not going to mention it because we're keeping it kind of under wraps. But this will kind of tie in a little bit to it, kind of same oddball stuff. And Terry R says, yeah, she drove for 28 years. Wow, hats off to your mom. Wow, 28 years driving a school bus. Better human being than I am, that's for sure. Even Alf. You know what? That'd be a really cool character to have implement in this game. Is Alf has a taste for cats. Does Alf did?
Yeah, he did.
George says these days they have a Star Trek based theme section, a few Star Trek themed roller coasters, and a section themed after Starfleet Academy. They still have that in Germany? I thought they did that in Las Vegas in Germany. I thought that kind of like was all shut down and everything. I didn't know it's still active. Very cool. So that's the white box. So you get a box, everything you need is in it. You don't need to buy anything else. And then when Open World's role-playing game, which is going to be hardcover books, then you can go ahead and you can get that. And actually, speaking of Tim Kask, the Player's Handbook, main piece of art on the cover is modeled after Mr. Kask himself. So I thought that was pretty cool. A little ode to Tim. I'm very grateful for Tim for... that man has probably taught me more in the 2 years I've been working with him about game design, role-playing games in general and such than I knew my entire life. That man is a treasure by far. Gotcha. Yeah, so that's white box. Now, Scott Mulder says box set would be cool. That's the whole thing. I mean, there's a general rule, and me and Jim Wampler have talked about this. We joked about this before about you never do a box set. But Jim's going to chew my butt next time I talk to him on the phone. I know he will for doing this. I know. But Jim, I deserve it. I know. But I just really wanted to do an old-fashioned box set, and I think if it's done right, I think we may not make a lot of money on it, but I don't think we'll lose money. And this is just something like I've always wanted to do. I mean, I always wanted to publish books. I did that. I wanted to do a 2-novel set. I did that. I wanted to write a kid's book. I did that. I've got games under my belt. And a box set is kind of like on my radar to do. And that'll be the only box set for role-playing games I do, I promise. Unless this one becomes very popular, then maybe we'll do a gray box or a black box or a red box. Like Beck Me. Never know. George says, you, sir, have taught me a lot of 3D printing and all until it's short 7 months we've been doing this. And you said, yeah, I mean, I had no problem helping you, George. I mean, this guy, George from the Netherlands, he is an excellent 3D printer. And he is one of the few guys that can print using filament, PLA, And I'll tell you right now, you won't be able to know it's PLA. You'll think it's resin. I'm not joking. That's how tight this guy gets his layers. I am blown away by George and his skill at it. But yeah, so we got the white box. Like I said, the dice. These are the dice. Like I said, there are a brand of dice. Let me see if I can get this a little bit better. Of course, it's not going to. There you go. At any rate, these are the dice. I posted a picture on our thing. We're going to have, like I said, about 20 or 25 different colors and styles. So, and they're good quality dice. They're not the El Cheapo dollar store dice like some companies do. I'm not mentioning Voldemort's name on tape, honestly. George says, can even tire those were standard print settings. Yes. Manipulate your manipulate your print settings, manipulate your layer lines, take your time printing. The longer you take with 3D printing when you're doing filament, the better usually it comes out. I think George will agree with me on that. So, but we got, like I said, we got white box. We got that's the update on WizardCon. We've got oh geez, what else we got? Oh, question for everybody. I want to know something from everybody. I got approached by a customer of mine that I used to do models for. And he said that, why don't you put pre-built, display quality, museum quality, game-oriented models on your store for sale? Like, as an example, I have a, everybody here knows Tomb of Horrors, the infamous dungeon designed by Gary Gygax, the man himself. And you know the big face, the Tomb of Horrors face? I actually have a 3D printed head like that. And then behind me, I've got George hanging up. That's my spectator head with all the tentacles and everything.
Oh, yes.
Yep.
The dog's favorite.
Yeah, my dog hates it. She absolutely despises it. I mean, I hold it up and go, big old 100-pound gold, lab shepherd mix, and it runs like with his tail between his legs. Let's see here. Scott said, are those standard size or the giant dice? These are standard size, regular polyhedral dice. Standard size. So, yeah, they're not the super size one, just the normal size that you put in for your gaming. And they got a real UPC code that scans. Imagine that. So we got that going on, and then we have we're going to be doing a thing called the Life Wheel, and I'm just going to leave it at that. This
that's the best one. Though.
Yes,
I shouldn't say the best one, but that's one of the ones I've always liked.
Yes, and actually. The Life Wheel is going to be something really cool. I'm actually going to premiere it probably this weekend. I want to give a video and showing you how to do it. And it'll be something that I'll bet you most gamers will want, whether you're playing Magic the Gathering, Pokemon, whether you're playing D&D, you'll want this, because what this is going to do, this is going to save you from constantly erasing and doing on your player character record sheet. George says, well, game studio models such as all possible. Yeah, you never know. Thaitis says, the only issue I could see in selling items like that is transport and shipping costs. The issue I have with purchasing models online right now is often come broken. Actually, believe it or not, I've been doing this for years. There is a trick to shipping studio scale high-end models. You just pack it well. And there's a trick to packing it. Like I said, I've honed it. I've done, God, hundreds of models probably for people.
Yeah, well, you've done over 50 Millennium
Falcons alone, yeah. I'm actually on my 53rd.
Yes.
53rd Millennium Falcon I did finally for me. It's on my bench. I'm working. I've been posting it on my TikTok and also on my personal page. So yeah, Thaitis, trust me, if you ship them correctly, they'll be fine. They're not going to get broken at all. And besides the material, etc. What I do is there's several regular plastic high-end models, but also I deal in resin a lot. Regular 3D printed resin, also mixed resin quite a bit. And then George says, my business is worldwide, currently printing locations around 6 countries covering most. Yes. George is based in the Netherlands. He's got an operation out of Tennessee, UK, and a couple other places. George, put it in the chat. I'll be happy to show the countries that you guys print out of. So, but yeah, Thaitis, it all depends. I mean, if you pack it well enough, you're not going to have any problems. I just got done, as a matter of fact, about 2-3 months ago, I shipped a Y-wing, a studio scale, almost 28 inches long Y-wing. You know how delicate those engine nacelles are, and it shipped to New Hampshire, and it went there just fine. I live in Michigan. Let's see here. Excuse me. Let me go to George real quick. George says, Canada, Germany, Austria, and Netherlands. Yes. Thaddeus says, if you could offer a guarantee for broken product and replace them, if they do come broken, I'd be down. Yes. I mean, I got no problem with that. I mean, the thing is like with X-Wings, just to kind of give you a breakdown, we all know with X-Wings, you got the wings like this, and you got the pylons, the cannons. What I do when I ship an X-Wing is those delicate pylons, I don't even connect them yet. I actually put a little tube of super glue in, and I have the pylons separate. All the customers do is go dab, dab, put it on, hold it for 30 seconds, let go of it. There's things that you can do to make sure that the model arrives safely. And, you know, that's one of the things I do like with X-Wings. And, actually in my business, well, the business I used to be in doing models, you have to guarantee they come, because people are paying you a lot of money for very high-end, hyper-realistic, hyper-detailed display models. And George knows all about this because that's how I met George. And what you have to be able to do is you have to be able to take that high-end customer, and you have to make sure that they understand that they purchase from you. They're guaranteed they're going to get it. Scott, I forgot to mention I'm in Southwest Michigan, September 10th and 11th. Oh, awesome. We will have to probably meet up. There's a game company in Grand Ledge, Michigan, called
I believe it is Homebrew.
Yeah, Homebrew. Tabletop gaming.
Yep.
Scott, look them up. We're actually going to be doing a live at the Homebrew. We're going to do one of my Tuesday night lives at the Homebrew Tabletop Gaming in Grand Ledge. Maybe we'll do it on the weekend of the 10th and 11th. Maybe we'll get together up there and have you on our live, Scott. That'd be really cool. Packing peanuts, bubble wrap, yep, foam wrap. Oh, there's a whole bunch of ways that you do it depending on the model. Packing paper. That says, rock on. Thank you for the explanation, Don. No problem at all. George, I normally tape my packages tighter than Fort Knox. And that's another thing. Believe it or not, with these studio scale models, as delicate they are, you want to get them where they're tight in the box, so there's not room for them to flex and such. But it's all in a matter of packing, and I guarantee my stuff. I always guarantee my work. So that way, you know, if you're going to pay several $100s for a display model, you want to make sure you get it. You want to make sure it arrives not in pieces. I think I've only ever had one model break on me. And I think the customer did it because I think the customer said that they dropped the box after they opened it. But, yep, Fort Knox, exactly. Yep. So that's what we're thinking about doing. We're thinking about, like, as an example, I would build a model, have it ready to go. I don't want to build, you know, I don't want to do any of this, you know, I'll build it for you unless it's really special. But, like, build a model, put it on the site for sale. People want to buy it, they can buy it. If they don't, they don't. But real quick, Scott kind of look them up. They're in Grand Ledge, Michigan. I think you said you're going to Detroit area. Grand Ledge is only like an hour and a half from there. And maybe, like I said, maybe do a live there. We'll have a lot of fun. Yeah,
this game shop's really cool because it's so huge and they offer so many types of games.
Yeah, they're really pro gamer. They really like to get into, like, we know that most game shops anyways do like Friday Night Magic. They do, I think, a Saturday night D&D, was it? Or Wednesday night D&D. So I may do a live. Scott, hold on a minute. 10th and 11th is...
Oh, it's the middle of the week.
It's Wednesday. So if you're up for it, buddy, we can go there on a Wednesday. They're doing D&D. We might as well go ahead and do that. We can do something like that for sure. George says, the sky is the limit pretty much to a degree. Max build size 256 millimeter for each part. So on paper, one object can be bigger than if you have section 250 each. Exactly. Because keep in mind, the end model doesn't have to be that limited that size, just parts. And I've built some pretty big models before. Mm-hmm. In fact, got a life-size Han Solo and Carbonets going to the Battlegrounds in Connecticut. So, yeah, big stuff. I'll put some pictures of it on Wizard Tower's Facebook page for everybody to see what the kind of stuff I do.
Well, maybe we should go live at the Battlegrounds.
Yeah.
I think the night we arrive will be a Magic night for them.
Gotcha, but if we do Wednesday, they do D&D on Wednesday nights, and Mulder's going to be there. I'll be near Benton Harbor on your side of the state. Oh, you're by Benton Harbor? If you're looking at Michigan real quick, Benton Harbor's over here. We're about right here. So, Scott, you're probably drive about 2 hours into it. but might be worth your drive, man. Meet up at the battlegrounds or do a live together, have some fun. Why not? I'm all for it. George said, I've seen people printing a life-size dinghy to fish out of a 3D printer. Yeah, exactly. 3D printing is a big thing. We have large format resin 3D printers, a lot of figures like to do on them, things like that. D20 delving, the figures are going to be printed using that, and such. So yeah. I want to also address something. Overseas shipping for people. I had a gentleman contact me. He's from Mexico. He might be in the live tonight. What he is he had a concern because he got the tracking number via our software saying that you got a tracking number, but the shipping was delayed, and he was wondering why. I want to explain the reason why. In the United States, for those of you who work or live overseas, in the United States, we have a thing called a customs declaration. When we send something overseas, we have to fill out a separate form. It's a declaration to our customs and your customs to basically say, this is what the product is, it's not illegal, that type of thing. The problem is, for those of you who don't know, when you use Shopify, Shopify will generate the mailing label for you, and then it flags you. You have to do, normally you wait for Shopify to generate that form. For some reason, Shopify takes anywhere between 5 minutes and 5 days to generate that form. So there's a way that I can bypass it, is I print off the label, and then I have to manually fill out the form, and I have to go to the post office, kind of a pain in the butt, but I'm willing to do it. So for those of you who have ordered something international and you've seen your tracker not activate for a while, that's the reason why. We're just kind of hamstrung by the way their software is. Yes, same thing, exactly. So, also to let you guys know, me and Eric Tenkar and Tom Verl from Tabletop Tap Room the other night in our live was talking about doing a game every once in a great while. And for those of you who don't know who's into it, but anyone be interested in doing maybe like a once a month game session, virtual, I'll host it. We'll do a game session, maybe pick a we'll have to pick a night that's kind of convenient for everybody, but yeah, do a game session.
There you go.
Yeah. So
sounds like fun.
Yeah, gaming is fun. But trying to think what else.
Any updates on Winnie the Pooh game board?
Winnie the Pooh. Pooh, now called Winnie the Pooh, because I guess I offended some people calling it Pooh. Is basically the game is done. We're going into manufacturing on it. And this woman right here will be testing it in her classroom. Not testing, it'll be live playing in her classroom with her little ones, because that's what it's designed for. Also, what was I going to do? There was another game that we were going to be doing that we're doing. St. Cuthbert. We are doing the Forgotten Mines of Dorian. Kick my butt, Greg. I apologize for messing up the name again. It's a module we're doing for St. Cuthbert. We're doing a kind of a joint. We're actually one of our publishing we're doing for another person. It's going to be under Wizard Tower Games label. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be taking that module. We're in primary map design right now, converting the handwritten maps or hand-drawn maps over to regular classic game maps, and also laying the game out. Me and Polly Kidd, we had a video conference just the other day. We talked about this. We're going to be putting out, we're actually in the middle of layout right now of Snarkberry's role-playing game. And then for Stars and Sails, we're going to be doing a BackerKit crowdfunder for that. Polly wants to do. We've already submitted to BackerKit. BackerKit's basically done all the approval. I had a little bit of an issue with BackerKit. I had to work out today because I guess when I typed in my LLC information, it literally has to like match perfect. Like if there's a capital letter, it has to be capitalized. And I have a bad habit of taking LLC and making them all lowercase. Well, this was capital L, lower c. And Stripe, because they're so sensitive about it, basically said no. So I had to fix that. So that is going to be in. George, Yeah, you never played D&D before, or another role-playing game before. What I was thinking about doing is maybe using this a chance to do further testing in open world. So maybe whoever wants to get involved in this might want to be able to maybe do some test playing of open worlds, our new role-playing game we're getting ready to do. And either that or maybe do something like Blades and Arcana or something like that, something different, a little bit new. Um, Dungeon Dragons 5.5 is out now. They have finally released, I believe, the the hardcover player's handbook, and imagine that 5.5. I'll let Eric Tenkar and Tom Verlt handle the heavy lifting on this one, but let's just put it this way: some promises they made regarding D&D being compatible and stuff. I think they broke their promises. Imagine that. D&D 5.5. Anyone in here playing it? Anyone looking forward to it? Anything like that? I'm going to buy the PDF at the minimum because I got to learn it, because as a game publisher, we have to be able to be up on the newest systems, because I know what's going to happen probably in the next 6 months to a year. We're going to have to start gravitating to also be doing 5.5 related stuff. George says, is that like IRL V101 to fix the issue with leaking bladder? Basically, George, Dungeons and Dragons has had several incarnations the last 50 years. It is too long of an explanation, my friend. All I can say is, if you go Google D&D, type in Wizards of the Coast OGL scandal, and hold on for the ride. I'll just let you key onto that. It's a rabbit hole of craziness that surrounds this, but yeah, we're gonna have to, I think, to begin dealing with 5.5. Mm-hmm. That's what they're formally calling it, I guess. Jim Wampler, Jim, how you doing, buddy? Jim said, I just got the PHP, and 90% of what I object to in the new version is not contained in the book or any book. Really? I'll have to call you. We got to talk tomorrow. I'd like to get your input on this. Now, did you get the physical copy of the PHP or the other? With that new TSR guy I've been following. Oh yeah, no. Mr. Lanasa is a totally different Voldemort animal than Wizard of the Coast. This is something, totally different. Both very, very scandalous though in the gaming field. But yeah, Jim, I'd like to know whether you got that physical or PDF. I thought about just buying the PDF because I know that they got the physical player's handbook out now. And I'm actually want to read it. Could you say real quick? I want to read this again. Jim, you said I just got the player's handbook, and 90% of what I object to in the new version is not contained in the book or any book. Really? Jim says, I meant all the microtransaction online content, which misses the whole point of social gaming. Yes, and see that. And Jim makes another thing here. He mentioned, from what I understand, the new VTT, the virtual tabletop, which is going to be where you sign up and you have all this stuff available online. There's a lot of rumors going around. There's a lot of opinions being flopped around. And Wizards of the Coast's newest and latest help wanted ads online, where they say we're looking for these kind of skills, all revolve around microtransactions, computer programming. So they're really going to push the virtual tabletop thing here. George says, I used to be a paid game master, chat moderator, a senior Discord administrator for Worm Online for 15 years. When I left the game, turned to microtransaction hell. That's basically, I think, where Dungeons and Dragons is headed. I think the physical books aren't going to have it, but I think if you go online and they're pretty smart. Wizard of the Coast is actually pretty smart, because if you think about it, people now are used to holding these things. They're used to them. And, people are used to thumbing through and doing, and that's kind of what they're really hyper-focusing on. And, think about it. I'm playing D&D, and there's a class that's not available unless I pay $1.99 for it. And for those of you who say, what's the big deal? What's $1.99? I don't know if this can be a dollar amount, but if they were smart, they'd do it this way. Make it like 99 cents or $1.99, because that 99 cents or $1.99 really adds up when you get somebody who just does it because they're not thinking. Oh, and sooner or later, you've got $50-$60 into something and you don't even own it. They can edit it anytime, they can do it anytime. That's why I'm more of a physical book or a PDF kind of guy. I want to physically have it where I can print it off myself. And that way I can do what I want and change it as I want to. Minecraft Co-Farm 3 is recreated Minecraft. Played a little bit with them before. Yeah. See, that's just it. I mean, microtransactions, it's a big moneymaker for companies. Companies really want to get into the microtransactions. You play some of those online games and such, and they're always hitting you up for money, aren't they?
They are, but I never give it to them.
Yeah.
So.
And see,
I'm one of the ones that they don't like.
Yeah.
I play for free.
Yeah, but see, what they do is they carefully craft a lot of those games, and how they craft them is they make it where you can only go so far. You have to buy, the magic orb, and I think that's what D&D is going to be approaching. You're only going to be able to get to a certain point before, or either that, they'll make all the classes all lame. And if you really want the powerful classes, really cool classes, you'll have to pay that $1.99 or $4.99 or whatever they're going to go ahead and they're going to get you for. But they're going to get you for something. But, while we're updating, I was to talk about Zonk. I am currently finishing up the spell list for Zonk. I'll be giving that to David Floor probably tonight or tomorrow. And then we got about 75-80% of the game done. I talked to him briefly yesterday via PM, and once he gets the spells, he'll be able to get things kind of, getting wrapped up and everything. And the idea is I'd really like to see Zonk out this fall and up and fired up, at least in a beta stage where we're playtesting live in a live environment where people can join and do and all that kind of stuff. George says, you do know Notch sold MC for $2.6 billion US dollars to Microsoft 3 years ago. Rolf sold Worm Online for $110 US 3 years ago to sketchy loot box selling companies. Hey, you know what? That's what happens. These companies, they become hyper popular, and they're gobbled up by bigger companies. I mean, look what happened with Instagram. Instagram was gobbled up by Facebook, and I think Facebook tried to buy TikTok. I think I read somewhere, and TikTok said no. Smart move, TikTok. Don't be Facebook. But that's the big thing that we're planning on with Zonk, is to get it online, up and running. And then the idea of Zonk is we're going to be adding like adventures and dungeons and things like that. So as you play the game, become more powerful, there'll be things to kind of placate your urge and your need to loot, plunder, kill, and adventure. George says TikTok is owned by a Chinese government. It was created by, from what I understand, TikTok was created by a Chinese company. TikTok US is solely US based. All servers are in the United States. It's got all US programmers. It's got a US based CEO. And I think that's all politics, that the Chinese are listening in on your TikTok. I'll just say it like this. If some Chinese intelligence official is looking at my TikTok, I actually feel sorry for the guy to bore his ass that bad. Because all I do is cook. All I do is post cooking videos and videos about my model building. That's pretty much what I post on my personal TikTok. So, sorry, Wang Fong, whatever your name is, the intelligence officer handling my account. Don't mean to bore you that bad. And then also, we're going to be getting into these guys. Those of you who can't see it, I make my own daily planners that cater to me, but I'm going to be making one for people who play role-playing games, and it's going to be a way to plan your adventure on a piece of paper, get it planned out, and get it done. And I'm also kind of thinking about, along with Zonk, having a digital version where you sign up for an account and you can actually plan out adventures, and it'll seed with monsters and all that of my own creation and all that. So, but I'm going to be doing a paper hard copy version and looking into doing a digital version of it. Yeah, steaks and cakes. Yeah, George says he's always hungry when he sees me post. I like posting cooking videos, man. I live an exciting life, man. I post pictures of my cat while I'm drinking Guinness Stout and cooking pizza on my grill. Yes, I cook pizza on my grill. Mm-hmm. Yes, and send reminders. That's what I'm thinking about the online system, is basically where you can join it, and you can like enter all your information about what kind of adventure you want. It'll kind of seed it. Not AI, going off of legitimate database pulls, not AI. So basically all the information within the database would be core information in an SQL database, and that way as you're making it, you can pull from it and you can select monsters that you want and all that, and be based off of my core world, my open worlds, for the online version. Yes. And basic, what I thought about doing is, and this is what people don't understand, is what D&D is doing with this virtual tabletop is not that hard. It is not hard to create a digital space where people can log in and you have like a dungeon master up in the corner and his players, buy that and all that. That's not hard. The big thing is the graphics, the dice rolling, the dice, rolling into it, and people like bells and whistles. I'm talking about something, just a planner. You're a DM or a GM and you want to go ahead and you want to plan for your adventure. You go ahead and you do it, because my wife will tell you I'm a big list maker.
Oh yeah.
Paper is my best friend. I murder thousands of trees every year. So, but yeah, that's kind of like our first of the month Tuesday live. And by the way, my Frau next to me will be here every first of the month, and sometimes during the month also. But yeah, that's basically it, folks, for tonight. Hold on real quick. George says, I've seen D20 dices in the market that sends out a number you roll to the online D&D session. Yes, there is. There's a program called Quest, where you and your friends can log in. You can seed adventures. Then each player rolls a dice, and everyone sees the D20 or the D10 or whatever roll. There's also number generators and everything, but people are visual. I'm not going to do a number generator because people want to see the dice go click, 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 click across the screen, and I don't have that ability. And I think if I asked David Fuller to help me with that, he might pull out whatever hair he has left. Poor guy. But you know what? It is what it is. But so good things are happening. I mean, good things are happening. WizardCon is happening. We've had a misguided individual, aka I call him Voldemort, has tried to ruin our convention again, but it didn't work. What I think he realizes it now, that the convention organizer is a big, long time D&D lover and fan. He's going to be there at the convention. He wants to show up on his day off and check out Tim Kask and a few other people. But like I said, we got White Box. I'm not going to mention the game. I'm not going to mention the individual, but I'm right now. Me and another major gamer is in talks about his card game. Like I said, I'm not going to talk about it until it's ready to go, but it's based on a popular character. That's all I'm going to say. And if things pan out and the game actually comes to fruition, I think a lot of people would really like it. It'd be a lot of fun. But out of respect, he asked me to kind of keep it quiet until it's ready to go, so that's what I'm going to go ahead and do. And then George says, no, real dice connected through Bluetooth. Yeah, I imagine you could have like a screen and you roll the dice and everything. I imagine you could do that, yes. Scale 4 printing will hopefully also be present. Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, what we want to do is I want to get up to the point where we get actually into finally our physical offices that we've been kind of banging around for a long time now. And, get into full-time printing, binding, all that stuff. I'm a real fan of doing it in-house. I don't like going to other people for stuff, because then you're beholden to them. Their delays become your delays upset your customers. Whereas if I'm doing it, I control my own destiny. So that's how it is. But we're at 45 minutes, a little bit short tonight, like I said, just because, like I said, don't got much to talk about tonight. Next week, I'll most likely be doing a live from a game shop. So look for next week's live. That's going to be kind of different. I want to showcase the game shop. I want to talk to the owner. I want to showcase what he's doing, show his shop off. So I think it'll be a real cool live for everybody to go see. And I'm going to finalize that probably tomorrow with him. And then I'm going to start posting about it and posting more about it and getting more advertising for it as next week comes. So, George, you have a good evening too. Jim says the binding on the new PHP is almost as good as Lost Adventures of Gary Kahn book. Thanks. You know, the thing is, the sad part about it is that, you know, and I'm surprised WotC doesn't do this. I'm surprised WotC doesn't have their own printing operation. They would probably save a lot of money. Just do a limited run a POD on it. You know what I mean? For WizardCon, is there any news on what vendors may be selling? Scott, real quick, yes. Along with us, along with a lot of the special guests who are going to be having tables there, like Merle Rasmussen, Darlene, Jeff Dees probably going to have a table there, and such. Joe Block, the Greyheart Grognard, Rob Conley, from Bat City Games is going to, or Batniatic Games, excuse me, is going to be there. We've got a guy that's going to be making poly signs there. I have a guy who is going to be he makes customized dice, where he actually makes them. And I have another individual there who's going to be doing, they do this weird printing thing where what happens is you go there and like you can order like license plates and such, and they print it right there for you. Pretty unique. We've got a guy who is going to be specializing in RPGs used, and then Ed Lazor from RPG Market, he's one of our sponsors. He's going to be dropping us a lot of product. We're going to be having that for our online auction. So as time gets closer, Scott, I think we're going to get more and more vendors signing up. We're still like 8 months out, so people right now are kind of like still in like hold off and wait stage. You know, people tend to last minute it, but I know we've had a lot of response. Like I think we're almost sold out of the Timcast experience already. People gobble that up quick, and they were smart to do that. George says maybe 3D. Yes, there's going to be 3D printed stuff there guaranteed. And then along with the Wizard Tower Games table, I'm also going to have some studio scale cool stuff sitting out there for sale. Some stuff that normal people don't have a chance to see normally. Like we're talking about 2 foot long studio scale X-Wings that are based off of the molds, or the original molds based off the Pyro model that was in 1977 in Star Wars. So they have really direct lineage to it. So, but yeah, so that's basically it for tonight, guys. Like I said, sorry to keep it short, just kind of just yapping at the mouth tonight, kind of winging it. So hope everybody has a good week, good weekend. Like I said, we're going to be next week, we're going to be probably at a game shop doing a live from a game shop, a little bit different of a format. Anyone have any questions about WizardCon, you can go to info@wizardcon.org, drop us an email. If you are a vendor and you have a question, you have something you need specialized set up, like a power for your booth or something like that, give us an email, let us know. We are happy to oblige. Thanks, George. We were yapping at each other earlier today. We had a video. Me and George talked a video. Terry, good evening. Hope you have a good night. So everybody, try to have a good night, okay? And this is Don from Wizard Tower Games, and this is my beautiful Frau, Tina. And we will talk to you guys later. Good night.
Have a good night.